Good morning. This is Tim Ealer. Hope you all doing well today. Today is the 2nd of December, 2025, and we're dealing with a pretty impactful event here, all on the southeast into the northeast, mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, with heavy snow ongoing here in the Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, freezing rain into the Appalachians, Roanoke, Charlottesville, and this is what we're going to focus on today. And currently here in Georgia, we have heavy rain moving through most of the state right now. The heaviest of rain showers moving through central Georgia right now, with temperatures generally in the 50s, 40s to the north, and the 50s in the south, with some severe weather ongoing here along the Florida Panhandle. Right, not likely to make it to our area just because it's so difference in temperature. It's very stable air up here and cold this morning. Really nasty outside right now. Much needed rain. Um, Although it's in a short period of time, hopefully it'll help mitigate the drought some. Right. So with that, real quickly, I'm going to go over the forecast for Georgia in general, as far as precip chances, temperatures, etc. And then I'll move on to a more broad look at the weather with the snow accumulation totals, things like that. So for my friends here in Georgia, this is the forecast generated from the weathermodels.com website. It's kind of busy, right? But I wanted to kind of move my face out of here. Um, so what's it showing you here is daily high and low temperatures. You got your max, your min, and your winds, and your 6-hour precip, right? So still showing some precip this morning, right? And then precip will come to the end today. Highs in the 50s, low around 45, and then tonight, cooling off, potentially below freezing depending where you're at, right? No snow, accumulating snow expected, okay? Highs in the 50s and the 40s on Friday, and that's just a general average, right? So in the central Georgia, probably a little warmer. Interesting that the lows are in the 40s, but you see rain chances increase again on the 5th, with not as heavy a rainfall. We almost received over an inch in the past 12 hours or so. Looks like rain chances increase Friday and the Saturday, although low precip amounts. Highs in the 50s, lows in the 40s and 30s. Maybe a cold frontal passage here, drier air. Generally in the 50s for highs and below freezing potentially in some areas, or near freezing. Warming up next week, and going further out with temperatures. We can look at a 10-day the 10-day temperature trend from the Euro model. So I like to use the Euro because it's arguably the best model out there. But you see for the South, through the next week, highs in the 50s, near 60, lows in the 30s and 40s. Then warming up next week, in the middle of next week, towards the end of the week, 60s, approaching 70 degrees. So, and I don't think this is really that unusual for this time of year. We have changes around here in Georgia quite frequently. with cold frontal passages, and then warm air builds back in. You get even more cold air after that. So it'll be a nice little change for a little while, but I think it'll cool off again eventually. But you see the trend here. Pretty chilly for most of the week, and then warming up um, next week. So here's the latest key messages for the early December winter storm, which is ongoing right now. And we looked at that radar. We'll go back to that in a minute. Significant icing in the Appalachians today, right? And it may not be showing up on radar where this is occurring, right? So as much as the radar does show it, it just estimates it based on the algorithm, right? Temperatures, things like that. So moderate disruption here in the Appalachians. And this is more the winter storm severity index, right? Which is their way of measuring the impact, right? And up to here is the totals expected, right? Yesterday we thought maybe Boston would get heavy snow, but looks like the warm nose is going to be pushing further inland. Disruptive icing in the south central Appalachians. Impactful snow for the interior Northeast. Heaviest snowfall from the Poconos to down East Maine. Generally 5 to 10 inches of snow is forecast. Isolated amounts in excess of 12 inches are possible. So this storm will rapidly move up the coast. So it's not going to be hanging around that long. So that's one good thing, or else it'd be a lot more impactful today. So here is the ice accumulation forecast from the National Weather Service probabilistic precipitation portal. So you can see where the highest amounts are here in the Appalachians. And if you click on any one of these, you can get different values here. Let me move this out of the way. So high end, a quarter inch up in the highest elevations here of ice, which is an impactful event, okay? Hopefully nobody lives that high up, but along these roads here, things like that, definitely be a problem here, right? And this is through Wednesday morning, right? So this is within the next 24 hours, and some icing expected out west. Not a lot in the South Dakota, okay? And the icing, the total. See the icing kind of, there's no real icing after this. Freezing rain or sleet. After that system moves out to the north, you have some more, just a little bit lingering here, maybe in the higher terrain. All right. After that, no more icing expected through the end of the week. Now, snowfall, go back to the beginning here. This is through tomorrow morning, right? I'm not sure why this is cut off right here, but Intermountain West expected to get significant snow here in the higher terrain, of course. Up to the northeast, if we zoom in a little bit, this is total through Friday, okay? So, through Friday, but in the short term, you see lake effect isn't as impactful, right? But in the northeast, Nassau is right on the edge of the highest precip chances, snow chances. Interior New England, Augusta. Looks like Providence and Rhode Island are going to stay out of it. No real chances of maybe a trace here in New York City. Okay. Eastern PA, there's a sharp dividing line here. You get into the Allentown area, Reading, and you get further to the north here is where the highest snow totals are. So Concord, Lebanon, Claremont, Keene. So roughly, like they said, maybe 5 to 10 inches of snow here, northeast. And if we do through Friday total, right, maybe interior New England could get close to a foot and a half of snow. That's maybe in the high terrain right there. And then towards the end of the week, see lake effect snow kicks in, right? The northwest flow aloft in the favorite areas here. All right, so that's the snowfall expected there. Now towards the end of the week, we got some snow maybe building in west here and in the higher terrain. Colorado looks like it's gonna get some snow here, maybe in the Denver area, but maybe on the front range of the Rockies here. Denver looks to miss out on the totals here, but right to the west. Aurora, maybe 4 inches possible. High end 7. At least an inch has a high chance of getting at least an inch. This looks like an upslope snow event, right? Then those totals move further south, and we'll show what's driving that here in a minute. So I wanted to show you this real quick to highlight the changes that occurred in the models since yesterday. The NAM yesterday at 18Z was forecasting, see the high snow totals here, right along this area. And you go further in time here, you see how it pushes further to the north, and the snow totals decrease, right? And so it's interesting to note how that happened, but the rain snow line and the intensity and where the low tracks is always an important factor, right? But you see up in here in the Halifax area, forecasting potentially 20 inches. And so that's likely where the low is going to be the most intense, right? And we can look at that here on the NAM with the simulated radar. Okay. Tell you what, we're going to go to the HRR since it's an hourly run. See how far out we can get. I think it highlights what's going on here pretty well right now. 5 a.m. Like I said, this is the HRRR model, which is a high resolution rapid refresh model. I'm going to take this layer off. Okay. And move this through time. Well, I can't because it's just running. You have to do the HC 0800 model. Anyway, you see the precipitation shield moving to the north here, low. And this is likely why the warm nose is moving further north. You see low pressure here along the Appalachians still, even though one is starting to form here, I'm sure, off the East Coast. Energy finally transfers that here, right? And that's not uncommon for this to happen. You see where the rain snow line is. Okay. The 540 line doesn't necessarily mean where rain snow will be, but it's a very loose proxy for the freezing line. Okay, so don't rely on that. This is a mild depiction, so you can see where the rain snow line is setting up, and Boston is squarely in the rain zone here. Right on the edge, guys. And you get into New York, and I was thinking maybe yesterday on the back end of this we would get some snow, but it doesn't really look like it's going to do much, right? When you get into Bangor, Augusta, Portland, right along the edge here, where the edge of the rain snow line, where the heaviest precip's going to occur. All right, so low moves to the north. Okay, now we're going to go further out with the NAM 3K. See the heavy snow setting up here. I'm not certain why I can't see this further out. I got to go to the Euro here. Go to the Euro AI. All right. So this depicts it pretty well. Where the heaviest snow is going to be, Nova Scotia, right? If we go to the Euro itself, pretty much the same thing. Although it doesn't seem as bullish on the snow here. Although, yeah, so the low is going to really scoot out pretty quickly here. Either way, the highest snow totals are predicted in Nova Scotia along the east coast, the northeast quarter here, just to the west of the coast. So going further out, let's take a look for the impacts out west. Right, you have maybe some snow dipping to the south here Wednesday with a disturbance moving through, and you could see maybe some more rainfall, maybe snowfall event again here into the Appalachians. This is Friday, okay? Quickly moving up the coast, right? If we go back and run, we'll see where this placed it. So, interestingly enough, it's trending a little more impactful here, but we'll have more resolution on this as we get closer. Current hazards, you can see mostly winter weather related hazards going on. Maybe some ice storm warnings. You can't really see that on this, but I guess they're there. Winter storm warnings up in here into the northeast corridor. Winter weather advisories for all over the place here. So, whoops, sorry guys. And out west here into Montana, parts of Wyoming, Colorado. Freeze warning down here in the desert southwest into California mountains, higher terrain, and dense fog advisory here. So, I mean, you can see by this map where the most impacts are right now. As far as excessive rainfall goes, no risks of excessive rainfall in the next couple days. Then moving back into, let's see, Friday, the risk increases again along the southeast coast, New Orleans, Mobile, Hattiesburg, Lafayette, Louisiana, Mississippi area. And then that threat moves again through the deep south here to parts of Georgia, New Orleans, parts of southern Alabama, into northern Florida, Florida Panhandle. And as the system moves to the east, you have a chance of excessive rainfall here in the northern Florida, and southeast Georgia. As far as severe weather for today, chance of thunderstorms, which I don't think we're going to have any here in Georgia, but you never know, I guess. If they are, they're going to be elevated. Chance of tornadoes. Let's see. Let's look at this real quick. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just for this morning, likely. Um, as that system moves out, this is going to clear out by the middle of the day today. So tornado risk, wind risk. I don't think there's a hail risk here. Go to day 2. Don't have anything on the map here. Probabilistic, day 3. No thunderstorm expected day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. All right, so no real severe threat highlighted except for this morning on the Florida coast, and we know what's going on there, and hopefully there'll be no impactful events this morning. As far as data, 8 to 14 hazards, the La Nina is still impacting the western U.S. and also in phase 8 of MJO, you tend to have more impactful events on the northwest coast, and the MJO is moving near phase 8 right now, so I'm not surprised where you have this high wind risk, the 9th to the 10th, heavy precip and heavy snow. So definitely going to be impactful event next week in this area. Risk is heavy precip, December 9th to the 15th. Let's make sure this is updated. Moderate risk of heavy rain, slight risk, 9th to 11th and 9th to 10th with the moderate risk there. And here's that snow risk. A lot of snow risk here. Moderate risk in the higher terrain of the Cascades into Washington State and into Oregon with a slight risk and further east as well, the 9th through 11th, 9th through the 10th with a moderate risk, and the 9th through the 10th here in the favorite areas of the Great Lakes with a northwest flow. Moderate risk of high winds here, so the 9th through the 10th here. So this is pretty telling here. If they're doing this much risk that far out, they have good confidence that there's going to be a high winds with this event, and slight risk the 9th through the 11th. Slight risk of hazardous temperatures up here and into the northeast, the 9th through the 10th. You see where the colder temps are forecast to be. So out west, warmer. The east, colder. Southeast, near normal. Dry here out west into the central U.S. You can see the delineation is here, but west coast, and we just talked about that, above normal chances of precip. Higher probability of above normal precip during the period. Okay, so temperatures are going to remain colder than normal. It looks like for the good portion of the eastern U.S. into the upper Midwest. High pressure squarely in place here over the west, which is going to lead to below normal precip chances with that high pressure there. Dry as a bone out here, but northwest is going to be still in on it with potentially impactful events moving on shore. Near normal precip chances, and we'll take that. I mean, for the southeast here, at least we're not in below normal precip chances. So, yeah, that'll be good. We need the rain if we get any more, right? Week 3 to 4 temps. This will be reissued on the 5th. You can see where the different probabilities are. Okay, pretty much fits as to what we've been looking at so far. Continuous northwest flow for the northern part of the U.S. Maybe high pressure getting suppressed some to the south. Equal chances of above or below normal precip for the good portion of the nation. You see the areas where the below normal chances are. So That's all I got for today, guys. Be safe out there. All in the eastern U.S., east of the Mississippi, has some impactful weather going on today. So drive safe if you have to. Be mindful of your surroundings. Take extra time to plan to get to your destination today.